Ντέλροϊ Τζέιμς. Play basketball for AΑΕΚ basketball club here in Greece. What's going on? I was born in South America, a country of Guyana. I spent there for the first 7, 8 years of my life. It was just me and one of my other brothers because when you're born in a country, third world, a country like that is like, for your parents and stuff, they have to leave first, get themselves situated for you to come to the States to make a better person of yourself, a better life for yourself. So I have 5 brothers and 3 sisters. Being a father, man, it's probably my greatest achievement to me per se. And it's also, if we're being totally honest, it's also something that I feel that I'm not the best that I can be. Only because I'm away from my son. My son isn't here with me. He isn't here with me, and it's a way it makes me strive harder because I know I'm working for him to, try to secure something better for his future. But I just feel like when my son got here, it just gave me a different insight, a different focus. But with me being separated from his mother and my son not being here from me and he living in the States and I'm not here, to me personally, I feel like fatherhood is my greatest accomplishment of being able to bring a kid into the world. But it's also, in a way, sometimes I feel as until I'm finished playing basketball and he's next to me more, I feel it could be also my biggest letdown that I always think about, only because he's not with me, not because I don't do my job that I can as a father, which I feel like to my best of my abilities I do. But I just feel like him, the responsibility of being a father and me not being next to him, I'm not fully doing because I'm here. And in a way, it makes me think of my parents when they left me. If it kind of made them feel the same way, or if they knew this was just a timetable thing and they'll be fine. And it's probably more simple for them, being that they have 4 or 5 other kids to worry about instead of the 2 that's in Guyana. But me personally, I love being a father, and every time I get to spend with my son, it's a feeling of like I won the cup over and over again. It was to like going. I'm on my way to the hospital because I wasn't there because how the day went by, because he wasn't of natural birth. He had a C-section. So I got the call going back to the hospital that he's already there. So it's a different dynamic of waiting. When you're underway, you just know that walking up the steps, getting on the elevator, you know your son is born. You know he's there. So it was I walk. He was already cleaned up, dressed, and he was actually sleeping in his first little cubicle or bed, whatever you call it. And I actually had a video of it, and it's in one of these phones or email, and I wish I could find it, but I'm just staring at him, looking at him, and he starts to cry, just starts to cry. He's like 2 hours old, maybe. He's just crying. So I'm like, and I just put my hand on his stomach and rub him back and forth, and he just stops. And stuff like that is so cliche. So I don't know but to me, it even in that cliche moment, I'm like, wow, I wonder if he like knew that dad is here or that his father's touching him, so he just stopped crying. It's like you always think of that because it's like, wow, he knew that I'm crying, that I'll protect him. So I always feel like I always try to be his biggest protector, and that's why sometimes I feel as if like it's a letdown because I'm not always around him to protect him. Being around kids for so long, you pick up on things they could do at a certain age, and I think I figured out before his mother, and we kind of battled on that also, because I'm telling her like, hey, little man needs some extra attention because I feel as if he could be autistic. And I wasn't around, but I could see traits, and she took it in a more so negative way. because she is around him. And no parent wants to hear, as much as you love your kid, you know, everything you love about them, the biggest thing you love about them is them be able to one day have their free independence, and you can control some of. But with when you hear and learn something like that, it strips away a lot of dreams and hope you had for your son, your daughter, whoever's battling with that situation at the time. So me telling her, we went back and forth dealing with that. I knew earlier, and I'm telling her like, hey, let's get into this. And more so down the line, she finally realized that he's lacking in some things. And in him battling with that daily and going through with that, he's made tremendous strides. She's done a hell of a job with him. He's made tremendous stride. And I also always feel like because of that, I do sometimes also feel more so sad about it, because I'm not around to fully, like that also makes me feel like a letdown, because I'm not around him fully to help him in that way all the time. And the work she does with him, like I commend her for being so strong with him and teaching him and etc. So whenever we get on the phone, on the FaceTime and stuff, to me to sit there and watch his progress is like, it's like, wow. But I also know that as much as sunny days, there's going to be some tough days ahead for him, and hopefully I'll be around. It's weird. You always say, why me, God? And more so in the stuff you view as negative. And that's just the way everyone works. Like I won the cup, or translating to basketball, I won the cup. I got a good contract here. I got a good contract before I graduated college. But in all the good things, you don't say, why me? You feel, you know what I'm saying? You feel as if if you worked hard for it, or you deserved all the good. But the negative is always why me. And it's kind of and I looked and I always sit back and wonder, honestly, why me? It's nothing you could prevent. It's nothing you could, I don't know what it is. I don't know how it happens. It's nothing. It's like luck of a draw. I don't know, man. But for sure, time and time I've said, why me? Why? Because I feel like as much as I love my son, I also feel as if he wasn't autistic, we'll have a better relationship in terms of him being able to travel and come and see me during the year, because he doesn't travel on airplanes and stuff a long distance of flight to come see me. And I've been in Europe 7 years now, and he has never once to come over because of it. So I feel as if he didn't, he could spend like a couple months here, and you know what I'm saying, and it'll be a better dynamic. But with his diagnosis, it's harder. So most of those times when I'm over here, some days I'm just looking at videos of the summertime, looking at pictures. I always think like, damn, why me? Well, I can't have my little man. I see every team I've been on, they have families with their kids, and they're just around and playing. Like even doing an interview like right now, he could have been like sitting in the chair right there. It's just stuff like that you think about, like, why me? And but what could I do? I can't control him and his diagnosis now. I just can only help as much I can for him to be better. To be honest, I never have a really, I might have had 2 conversations, maybe 3 conversations with my friends. I know I've never had a conversation so much in depth with autism with my family and him. And in a way, I actually like that. Like, they just accepted him for who he is. It wasn't a conversation of, oh man, like, damn, or that's sad, bro, et cetera, et cetera. Because there was never that type of conversation with anyone. It was just, I had a conversation with my sister, because to be honest, my sister was watching some at my aunt's house. Rest in peace, my aunt passed away, the aunt I'm talking about. My sister was watching some on TV, and she had sent me a message like, hey, bro, I think Τζέιλεν might be autistic. And he was 1.5 at the time. She was the first person. And from then on, I feel like me and my sister, one of my younger sisters I'm talking about, we talk about, if it's anyone I talked about on the grand scheme of things, on from my lowest points to my highest points of my family members, it's her. Because our relationship is a different dynamic than me and my other family members. We talk every day. When we talked about Jalen, it was her just telling me to open my eyes on it. And then when I did open my eyes on it, the next conversation was, all right, what could we do now? It was never them telling me or feeling sorry for me, things like that. And I had a couple conversations with one of my good friends, Malcolm, about it, my friend Morph about it, and my friend Phil about it. We've talked about Jalen and his condition. It was just a straight like, damn, like, wow. It wasn't it's a feeling that's honestly still here today. It's not, because you have to deal with it basically forever. This feeling is a constant feeling, and it's just like it builds character, to be honest. It puts a lot of stuff in perspective. It makes me feel as if I can't take anything for granted, like even catching a ball, shooting a ball. Like my son just started like a year and a half ago catching stuff and being able to like do stuff like that. And you take it for granted, even at a young age, even now, what you're able to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's a constant feeling of just like, not want to say like thank you, but like wow. And when I think about it in my son's back, it's like, wow, he has a tough road ahead, and I just hope I could prepare him as best as I can. Oh, man, as it's different stages of autism, and if I was giving advice, I'd just be like, hang in there and just do your best, because it's tough days, man. It's very, very tough days where your son would just be crying and ranting, and you don't know why, and he just started using his words better also, and you can't figure out why he's doing it. So I don't know what advice I could give a parent that I haven't, probably the same as I give myself, or that his mother give him, as just hang in there and just know you can hope that better days are coming. He's been at games of mine in the summertime, where in New York is a lot of summer basketball tournaments, and he's been in games. He's watched me play in my junior high school where I grew up. It's called Girls Park. He's watched me play there. But if he was to be able to come here, it would be so dope for him to watch me play here, but just the thought of him being even here would be it for me. Like, because I know I'll have him for like a month or a month and a half straight. So that feeling there would be extraordinary for me. Just knowing that after a practice, I open the door to the house and he's just there waiting. It's like, it'd be like a dream come true, just knowing that. And hopefully one day.